the spectacle of San Francisco welcoming Xi and company. You got the banners, you got all the homeless people miraculously disappeared off the streets. I mean, it was almost like a little taste of communism.
Yep.
Really a huge taste, even by San Francisco Bay Area standards, a huge big dollop of communism served right up. Does Silicon Valley have a China problem?
A massive China problem. And that's why the book Unwoke, the last chapter is on China. It explains how today's Democrat Party is structurally pro-China. And the reason for that is all of their key stakeholders are in bed with China. Big business, big tech, big universities, big Hollywood, all of them are in bed with China. And I discuss on issue after issue after issue how China is underlying it all. You look at the utter hypocrisy of the radical left. Listen, San Francisco, the Democrat leaders there have told the people of San Francisco, there's nothing we can do about homelessness. There's nothing we can do about criminals on the street. There's nothing we can do about people injecting heroin just in public parks. There's nothing we can do about people defecating on the sidewalks. I mean, they literally have an app in San Francisco called Poop Finder to report human feces on the street.
You don't need an app to find the poop in San Francisco.
You don't. But the amazing thing is, so for years they said there's nothing we can do about it, there's nothing we can do about it, our hands are tied, our hands are tied. And then suddenly she comes in from China and boom, they clear everyone out. They literally clean the crap off the streets. They get rid of the homeless people, get rid of the criminals. It's all sparkling. And they do it for the head of the Chinese Communist Party. Now that makes that, you know, I really do wonder if kind of lefty San Francisco residents are sitting there wondering, hey, wait a second. Why do they do this for Xi but not for me? Do I not matter? Do my kids not matter? Does my safety not matter? I don't know how many of them will think that. And I got to say, the collectivist hive mentality tries to prevent them from thinking that. But there are moments like this that cause people to realize that what they're seeing is corrupt. Look, COVID and the lockdowns opened a lot of people's eyes. And so I want to say in our last few minutes, the book right now, Unwoke, it's in every bookstore in America. It's on Amazon.com. It's on Barnes & Noble. It's on Books A Million. It has skyrocketed up the bestseller list. I want to encourage you, go online right now, buy a copy for yourself. It's fun. It's interesting. It's readable. It's not an abstract academic tone. It is filled with real stories and also real practical steps you can use to fight back. But I also want to mention Christmas is right around the corner. This book makes, I think, a terrific Christmas gift. So get a copy for your mom. Get a copy for your best friend. Get a copy for your crazy left-wing neighbor to try to bludgeon some sense into him. Or even better, get a copy for your kids or for your grandkids so that they can understand the garbage that the left is trying to indoctrinate them with. I wrote this book to be a tool, part of how we fight back. This book is designed to be part of how we fight back by giving people the information for you to be able to fight back in your own life and for all of us to fight to take these institutions back.
Well, it's a resounding call to action, and I thank you for that. I almost forgot. There is one other thing that's right around the corner, which I want to be sure that we hit on. There's a presidential election on the horizon.
I noticed.
A lot of Americans sort of scratching their heads right now, watching the spectacle play out. Obviously, so much at stake.
Yeah.
Do you have some guidance for people on how to approach this?
Look, it's a mess. On the Republican primary, I'm staying out of it. I am.
You're not going to jump in?
I am not. I am Switzerland in this race. Whoever the Republican nominee is, I will support enthusiastically. And I got to say, the path we're on, the Joe Biden's record is a train wreck. It has been. It's actually shocking how extreme this administration has been. You know, when the people of Texas first elected me to the Senate 11 years ago, when I showed up in Washington, there was such a thing as moderate Democrats. They existed. They don't exist anymore. The party has been utterly radicalized. That's one of the things I talk about in the book Unwoke, is Donald Trump broke the Democrat Party. They hate him so much that it shattered their brains, that it drove them to the radical left. The same thing happened to journalism. And so the chapter on journalism, I describe how how the corporate media, they despise Donald Trump. They are motivated by fury, and it caused them to abandon any pretense of a mission to be fair or impartial or to be journalists. They view their role now as propagandists, as advocates, as defenders of democracy, which for them means advocating not just for the Democrats, but for the left wing of the Democrat Party. That is an incredibly dangerous thing. And so my hope is a year from now, we see a resounding Republican victory. I don't know if that'll happen, though. We are a divided country, and every one of these institutions is all in to continuing the control of the radical left of our government. And so we are fighting a massive force on the other side. And the solution, I think, is engaging and empowering and educating individual citizens to speak out and use their voice to change the path we're on.
Well, I think that's very well said. The timing is perfect for this book. I think you're right. We're terribly divided. Some of that is just the nature of the beast, but people really do need to sort of recognize what the stakes are, what they're doing to us technologically, what they're doing to us with the institutions. In the absence of that kind of resounding political victory, which a lot of people are rooting for, to my mind, most important things, that spiritual renaissance that we talked about and that Bitcoin-led renaissance where Americans can not only get their hands back on their technology, but infuse it with a kind of spiritual authority that makes sure that this stuff doesn't go off the rails without turning it all over to the government. We can't trust power to take care of these tools and make sure they don't turn against us.